Live stream okay?
Yeah, it's good. So far up and running. Say hi to everybody out there.
How many?
13, 14.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
What did you want? Oh, I got 3 bones in my ankle. Oh, from the window. Oh no. Yeah, I was like kneeling on the bed. Okay. Pull the window over, and when I stepped back off the bed, I just got a sock on the hardwood floor. Oh no. It's just right there. Yep. I go back Thursday, and hopefully after that I'll be able to walk again. So right now I don't have any.
You got plenty of kids.
But he won't tell me. Nope, he will not tell me because I was there.
How'd that?
Oh, so his glasses. Guess what we forgot to get out? No, it's the transitional. So I'm like, great. I don't have any box, so I'm like, but he misses it. I know, he misses it. He's like, so soon?
I guess I was doing it when I was.
Doesn't mean put you over now. You're gonna have to put that back. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. There's that. Then there's a whistle pop up. Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, that's a lie.
Every video I know.
No, I'm not kidding. I'm very invested in this. Stand off.
No.
Leave it to the band and orchestra. The orchestra kids are on time. It's early, 5 minutes. We're gonna start. They want to go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our celebration of learning here at Frost Middle School. I want to take a moment to thank everyone here that is able to join us live, and for those of you who are elsewhere watching us live on YouTube. It has been quite a school year, given everything we have been through, between learning online, in person. We have been able to do it. Our students have been able to grow daily in class. This evening, we're going to perform 5 contrasting selections for you. If you have not downloaded this evening's program, it is available from the QR code posted in the gym. It can be found on fmsmusic.org, and we have some QR codes on the wall back here, and they were on the walls when you guys walked in. If you go to fmsmusic.org, you can get to those, the program. It's a 27-page program with all 3 days of our concerts. We had today is our orchestra, tomorrow is our concert band, and on Wednesdays our symphonic. And you can catch those links online if you go to fmsmusic.org on our main page. You also on our Facebook group, we do have the links for the other nights as well. You can join us. This has been definitely an interesting year. We have both our 7th and 8th graders combined today. And when we're going back to the summertime, I was meeting with both directors at Holmes and Emerson. We're trying to figure out what are we going to do. And we were going to try and collaborate and bring our groups together and try and do an online performance, because we didn't know what it was going to be like. We didn't know if we were going to be in person, we didn't know if we were coming or going, or what was happening. And so, at the start of the year, we were planning on doing an online virtual performance. That was the plan. And so we had picked 3 pieces that we were all going to work on. And then we ended up adding a couple extra. And we'll get to more of that later and why. So we had these 3 pieces, and we started working on them, and we had the 7th graders take the second part, and the 8th graders take the first part, and we worked on our own concepts in the year, some crossing over and their own concepts for what we were learning in class. And we came across an issue with the 7th graders at the beginning of the year. These guys probably remember when we had a Wednesday teacher, Mr. Weiss and I, we were online, and we were kind of get-go, and we got to tune some instruments online. How are we going to do this? And we did it. Not a string broken. We did it. And we talked them through it. They were tuning their instruments right away, where typically we would do tuning with them later on, like around this time, as they get more comfortable with the instruments. So we had to really push, not just from what we're doing online, but also in person, because there were times where we weren't sure if we'd be back, so we always had to take the instruments home, and they were always good about it. And we also had, too, there were times where we worked hard through the 100 minutes. That first 100 minutes seemed like that's a long time, but we actually worked really well. We were able to do quite a bit together during that time frame and cover a lot of concepts, more than what we actually were planning on, because we know what's going to happen. So we're going to get started here first with kind of a warm-up that I've created. Some elements come from different things with orchestras, and one element that you heard already was the tuning process. We went through the tuning the strings with each other, and we may check again just because of the weather. We'll change that. But also, we're going to do a warm-up. So we're going to do a D major scale that we all know. It's going to set us up just to kind of check the sounds, but also get our ears locked in. And then we're going to do another warm-up. It's called a Remington study that is typically found in the band world. And I play bass in the orchestra world, but also the band world too. And every time it's in the band, I'm going, why aren't these studies being done in orchestra? So I brought that into the orchestra world. And so we're going to use that. You can hear what that sounds like. And what this does, it gets our students out from playing D major all the time. Because in 6th grade, they play D major all the time. And in 7th grade, we try to break that cycle quickly. And what that means is that they have this hand position that they get used to, and they don't change it much. And so what happens, they find instead of playing a C sharp, they need to play a C natural, they're going to play C sharp because that's what they're used to. And so this study that we bring in gets them out of it. It starts to get them to move, we get their hands and ears listening for other pitches. So we've been able to do that over this time. So we're going to demonstrate that for you now. We're going to start with D major, and then we're going to do the Remington study. got a nice, lovely sound in here. It's beautiful acoustics. We actually, it's part of our bond. We had the acoustics especially for this concert tonight. I'm kidding. But it does sound nice in here with the orchestra. So now we're going to do this Remington study. And Mr. Lee is our student teacher, number 2 of this year, and he's with us this semester. And you'll hear from him later on. So he's playing bass today, and I'll be playing later on to sit in. And so he's going to provide this drone on a D, this foundation note that's going to help our students kind of listen and lock into one another. They're going to listen for any type of waves in the sound. If you hear any, we'll let these guys know later on, but they've been doing a really good job listening and adjusting with their sound here. So we're going to start with the Remington study. We're going to hear these descending lines. They're always going to come back to the home note before they go to the next note, and you're going to see some fingers moving each time. So here we go. So that's the Remington study, takes them through the changing of those notes there for their ear training. All right, now we're going to start with our very first piece here, a piece called Rigadoon. It's a type of dance, an English dance, and we're going to kick off with that one first to kind of really just bring out our sound. Here we go. like I said, we have a diverse program that's planned. And this next piece is a piece called Kaneko, which in Japanese translates to kitten. And in this style, we kind of learn different styles of music and from different cultures, and not just that, but also that the theory behind it and the way music's written. They all kind of have their own kind of style, their own ingredients to create these pieces. And so you're going to hear some of these, the pieces built off of fourth and fifths, meaning 4 notes apart, 5 notes apart. We're using about 5 notes in here that we create the Japanese kind of sounding style. And so you're going to hear some pizzicato playing, so you're going to hear a lot of these pops in the sounds, and so very crisp short notes that are going to happen in there. We're just going to emulate some of the Japanese instruments like the keyboard. And so we're going to play this piece now. And also, the composer is actually kind of interesting. I have an older version of this, and the composer name was listed as Kiko Yamada, which is actually a guy named Larry Clark, who was actually used as his pen name. It's kind of interesting story behind it. So they took that off the market, and then they reprinted it as Larry Clark, because no one knew who this composer was because they wanted to find more information. So it was kind of interesting. So, but here we go. Here's Kaneko. This next piece is written by our own student teacher, Mr. Lee. Sean Lee comes to us from Wayne State University. He's doing his final internship here at Cross Middle School, and his primary instrument is French horn. He's also kind of minor in composition, but composition has kind of become his love. And I'm not going to steal his whole thunder behind this, but strings is kind of a newer world to him. You had how much strings in college?
I'd say about 2 weeks per instrument.
Yeah. So not only teaching these guys, he's learning too, and so I put him through the ringer with the string stuff. Tell students, if you need help tuning, go see Mr. Lee, make him tune it. You know, you need to change a spring, you need to learn how to change a spring. Not to go off from the French horn. It's very similar. And so we were talking about writing music, and I said, one of the things that I would love to see more is the orchestra world have more pieces. The band world's got all that. He knows this. He writes for the band world, and he also writes for marching bands. And so I want you to write one of her strings. And I said, here's the ingredients. The group can do X, Y, and Z, and let's see what you come up with. So he brought it back, and I was like, well, it's going to be a good challenge. A lot of stuff you're going to hear in here today. You're going to hear some high F sharps that are going to happen in the low strings from the violas. They don't usually work too much in that C, G string area, and they're in the cello viola area, but you're going to hear that today. A lot of different expanding ranges. You're going to hear octaves between the second and first. You're going to hear this like big span, and you'll hear some very big scoring in there. So I love it. I hope you enjoy it. I'm sure someone has really explained a little bit more.
All right, glad everybody could make it out tonight. As Mr. Ray said, my name is Mr. Lee. I'm Mr. Ray's second student teacher this year after Mr. Weiss last semester. One of my colleagues from Wayne State, great guy. So, in any case, this piece, Mystic Mountain. So, when it came to the imagery, I always try to write to a sort of image in my head. And this piece, Mystic Mountain, I always imagine like this lone mountain just sticking out in the middle of nowhere, shrouded in mist. And this piece kind of is an exploration of sort of like the mysticism behind it, that sort of image there. So we're kind of got some explorers going up in the mist, climbing up this mountain, and throughout the piece, it kind of uncovers what the big mystery is behind it. So you hear lots of new techniques, lots of different scoring things. The other thing I want to say is, so those three pieces that Mr. Race and the orchestras and the other orchestras in the district had gotten, they were all about grade 0.5, right? Half grade 1. This piece is probably a lot closer to grade 2, so it's a real challenge for them, but the kids and the students have done a fantastic job rising to it, and we're really excited to show what they can do. So without further ado, here's Mystic Mountain.
All right. This next portion, before we get to our last piece of music, a couple things I want to take care of before we get on here. I want to start off with our 8th graders. And if I could, 8th graders, please stand. So I want to talk about these bunch. And actually, you guys can have a seat. Just want to point them out so you can find them here. This is a great group of kids. I was really sad when it came down to last year when March happened and we weren't able to go to actually State Festival. This group went as concert orchestra, 7th graders, got a 1, and was eligible for State Festival. We were supposed to go. We were like this close to going. And then COVID happened and we weren't able to go. And I was kind of sad about that because a lot of things were supposed to happen. We were supposed to do our Cedar Point trip and things like that. And it kind of came up again this year, and we could have done festival, but it was just like make a video like this and sit down. I was like, we're not going to do that. You know, we're gonna work on our techniques. We're gonna work on different skills. We did a lot of composition, trying to find different things that we could do. You know, obviously that's not going to make up for things like live performance. We didn't know it was going to happen. Not too that long ago, we were able to actually schedule this performance, which I'm very excited about. And for me, I'm probably maybe more excited than they are because for live music starting to slowly come back, and it's you know, we know it's definitely a big part of our lives. You know, going to concerts, seeing live events. You know, sports is one of those things, music's one of those things, and it's slowly coming back. And you know, I'm excited to see that happen. And I'm starting to get calls again, like, "Hey, there's gigs coming, starting to book." So it's a good sign. And I was sad for them for that because I mean, they did a really good job last year. And so, but we said we're going to keep that up. We're going to keep that mentality. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep driving. We're going to keep striving. And so, this whole group's been awesome. And the 8th graders, you know, to you guys, you know, keep playing wherever school you're going to, whatever you're doing, keep going, keep playing, because music's one of those things that for me, even though this became a career for me, may not be for you, but to always keep playing your instrument, regardless of how old you are, whatever you decide to do, because one of those things that I hear usually from adults is, I wish I kept playing. And it's one of those things you can do in a community group. You know, hopefully if you join the high school orchestra, if not, get in touch with the high school teacher, I can put you in touch with them. And keep playing. You guys have been awesome. And I appreciate all you guys' hard work you've brought to the table every single day, especially in the morning, which is very hard for our 8th graders. I think for all of us, it's very hard. And so we should compare our coffee drinks in the morning. You know, who's got one? So, right, Mandy? Yeah. So I also gave them some iced coffee tips too, how to make your own. But keep playing, guys. You guys have been awesome. And which brings me to this next point. And we have a MSBOA Scholar Instrumentalist Award that goes to one 8th grade orchestra student and one 8th grade band student. And so it's definitely a hard choice to make because there's some fine musicians in here. And there's a number of criteria that goes into it. And so I'm gonna read a little bit about that and I'll type out this person and I'll introduce it here. So let me switch over to here. So those of you that don't know what MSBOA stands for the Michigan School Band Orchestra Association. From Okemos, Michigan, which is their headquarters, the Michigan School Band Orchestra Association is proud to announce the awarding of the prestigious MSBOA Scholars Instrumentalist Award. This award is meant to recognize those young musicians who have achieved both academically as well as musically. The student that is nominated for the outstanding accomplishments in music and academics. Each member of the school may nominate only one scholar musician per year in orchestra and band, making this a very outstanding accomplishment. We also have orchestra band awards for our 8th graders for honors and as well. The Michigan School Band Orchestra Association is an organization of over 1,600 band and orchestra educators throughout the state of Michigan dedicated to improving school instrumental music in Michigan. Founded on a single district basis in 1934, it has grown to 16 regional district associations in both peninsulas, serving over 1,900 public, parochial, and private schools. Through numerous student-oriented activities such as festival, workshops, the teacher and service functions, MSBOA strives to provide continual growth for instrumental music. Each year, over 100,000 students in Michigan participate in MSBOA festivals, either individually for like solo ensemble or for a festival. For this year, this is going to a student who is on top of their grades, has equally balanced academics, sports, and music. The student embodies excellence overall. The student always comes into class first thing in the morning, generally with a positive attitude. And this is difficult, like I said, for us in the morning. So we roll with it together. But I get to always hear their updates from the weekend where they traveled and where they played over the weekend in their sport. And the student has grown their musical skills to include such as learning guitar. I enjoy hearing about what songs they're working on in guitar and how long they've been practicing and what they're working on. They come to class with their parts well prepared and ready to go. And this year's MSBOA Scholar Instrumental Music Award goes to Zach Helbeck. All right, before we finish this evening with our last piece, I'd like to thank our administrators, Mr. Wheeler and Mr. English, our custodians, and Frost staff for making this evening possible. I want to thank all of you parents for your support. I want to thank our student teachers, Mr. Weiss and Mr. Lee, for being with us. I can't wait for next school year, and I hope everyone has a great evening. We're going to take it to our last piece called Mythos.
Like, of course, you knew. I knew you were gonna. See? Wait, why are you
The kids aren't real big on the burgers because the onions and stuff so much, you know. But yeah, the fries, the steaks, they are. But just kids.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll enjoy that. Hey, what are we doing? Oh, okay. I didn't know. Okay. All right, man. Nice to meet you. All right, man. All right, Chuck. So, that's fine.
Thanks.
Yeah, I was totally there. Yeah, as soon as he said that. Yeah.
Well, we were putting the stuff here together. I didn't bring my instrument. Do you need it tomorrow? You're on your own. You want me to do anything? Just finish
Have a good one, Internet. Thank you. We got pieces with like the so new lots of pieces. Yeah, I mean, this is. Well, this is for you. This is for you. So, yeah. This is a university. It's different. This is like really local. It's like they were two things first. Like you do. Get our website. There is
Here.
Bring it back, set it out and stuff. Get all that and
Mr. Lee.
I will see you guys. What is that? Oh, okay.
Is it still streaming?
The viewer count's going up.
All right. It shows like a clear. Still some people on. Are there still people on?
Yeah. No, like it's so funny because like when I was in a college pep band, we had this whole bit where we do because we wear caps, right?